to the school committee meeting of December 10th, 2024. This hybrid meeting is being recorded and may be accessed by WebEx. The meeting link is in the calendar at burlington.org. We may have one board member remote, Jeremy, and if he joins, then all of our votes will be roll call. If he doesn't join, then we won't have roll call votes. Please rise to the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Nice shoes. Fancy.
Okay, so the first item on our agenda is the approval of the warrant. Is there a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Been moved in second. Any question or comment? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that's 400. Bob, if Jeremy joins, oops,
Sorry. No.
That's not you.
it's not? If Jeremy joins, will you let me know?
Yes, I will.
Thank you. Approval of the meeting minutes from
So moved.
from 11/12/24.
So moved.
Moved and seconded. Any question? Any comment? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
That is 400. Public participation. Is there anyone online for public participation? There's no one here.
No. Can I just ask a question? Is the
Yeah,
Chris
sure.
M. online you?
Yes.
Okay. Then no one online.
So we'll move on to information and reports. Rashida, it is your turn to give a report.
So basically, our pep rally reflection was that it was pretty good. I think all the competitions went pretty well, and everyone was like satisfied with like their decorations and how their student council planned things. And we also had like the hallway decorations, which I mentioned last time. The juniors won that, so that also went pretty well. Upcoming things, we have Ugly Sweater Day, December 19th, and then we have like proposed events like a spirit week before break maybe, and then like a meme day, ugly sweater, pajama day. Oh, and also a reflection about homecoming. We did really good on that. The senior class made 1,000 on pre-sale, and then 700 at the door, and like about 50 on snacks and food. But otherwise, for the seniors, we have the babysitting night on December 13th or 14th. It was scheduled for Saturday, but we'll like receive notice if it might need to be moved based on like if we get the wooden gym free. Then robotics has a Panera fundraiser on the 13th as well, and the newspaper club has a Papagino's fundraiser on the 19th. And then the freshmen are planning a movie night after midterms for all grades in Burlington, K to 12. And they're planning for that Friday after the midterms on January 24th, I'm pretty sure. And that's it.
Okay. Anybody got any questions?
I do. Who won the dodgeball game?
Oh, I have no
I heard
idea.
it was contested, wasn't it? The juniors?
Yeah, it was the juniors. It wasn't the seniors this time.
No.
Not the
was
ones with the hot pink shirts.
Oh.
It's like the white shirts. I don't know their names. I didn't watch.
Okay.
It's always prior to the pep rally, and
Yeah. I was setting up, so I didn't.
you didn't see. All right.
I just have one question. How do you send, where's the parents' night out?
I have to talk with
Advertise.
the
Oh.
senior student council, but
Okay.
usually, like, we put out flyers on, like, Facebook
Okay.
and things like that, and there'll be, like, a QR code
Okay.
for that.
Well, it sounds like you've got some interesting stuff going on. When was the pep rally?
What?
Thanksgiving, right?
Thanksgiving,
Wednesday,
right,
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wednesday, the half day.
Was it a really great pep rally?
It was pretty good.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was great.
Senior
Got
class
that
was great.
sense,
Everyone like decorated their own T-shirts. Like we had like all like clappers, and we had like banners, and like everyone was throwing around like the string. It was good.
So you had a really good time.
Yes, it was fun.
I think we have some pictures of the pep rally coming up.
All right.
for the
Sounds good.
for the committee to look forward to.
Thank you, Rashida.
Thank you.
The next item is subcommittee reports. Has anyone got a subcommittee report for tonight?
I have a subcommittee question, but I'll wait till after the reports.
I can give an update on the Wellness Committee meeting that was on December 5th. We met and discussed parent engagement initiatives, what's worked, what hasn't worked so far. We spoke about the DESA survey results. There's a reminder coming up to fill out an additional survey, the school climate survey that is open through the middle of December. We also talked about the career fair that's coming up, the internship assembly that's happening. It should this week, right? Am I correct?
Yeah, I believe you are correct. It's this week or next week, but
Okay.
I think it's this week.
Okay, great.
We can double check that.
That students are really looking forward to that, and that's about it.
Okay. So that's the Wellness Committee?
Yes.
So you and Melissa are both
Mhm.
on the
Yes,
Wellness Committee?
Melissa wasn't able to make it.
Oh, okay. You guys cover that pretty well. That's good.
Yes.
That's good.
Teamwork.
Any other subcommittee reports? No?
Subcommittee
Yeah,
question. Please remind me who is on the Ways and Means Subcommittee. It's yourself and Jeremy?
I think so. Yeah, I think it's Jeremy.
Town called and they're gonna try to get dates for the
Guideline meeting?
guideline meeting.
Yeah, that's usually the Selectmen Subcommittee. That's a different subcommittee.
Okay, so who's gonna,
Mary Ann can help me out with that.
all right.
Will you look it up and let us know who's on the Selectmen? I know it's me. I'm just not sure who else it is now.
Okay,
All right?
yes, ma'am.
That's different.
All right.
That's our annual be upset about the guideline meeting,
Sue
right?
and Catherine.
Was it Catherine?
Yes.
Oh, that's right. It was Catherine because she didn't make the last one, and I
All right.
gave her a hard time. Only
But
kidding.
it is you and Jeremy on Ways and Means.
Yes. Okay. So, any other questions? Okay, the next item is Ways and Means. You got anything for us, Cheyenne?
Ways and Means has nothing to report.
Nothing to report, okay.
Next meeting in January, so.
Next meeting is January?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Announcements? Dr. Conti?
I do have a couple announcements. As Ms. Wojcik said, I just want to make sure to remind folks that the school climate survey is still open for, I think, a week or so. It's really important that if you've received the link, that you fill it out. We will be analyzing the data. The school committee will see the results, I think, in January, right away, and people's feedback is important for us to respond to. This would be our third year of doing the school climate survey, so again, 1 year of data is great, but we'll start to see some trends, and I think that's really what is interesting to me is some of the programs we've implemented, we should be hopefully seeing some impact, and I just think it's important. The more feedback we have, the better the data is for us to use. So that was one announcement.
Can you explain how people can access this?
They're being emailed through Parent Square, so they should have received an email with a link. I will ask.
Yeah.
What?
I think they got a couple.
We got a couple. Again, I know that Ms. Concession has been sending it out, but I can certainly ask her to send out one more reminder if people haven't seen it. There's always a balance with sort of overwhelming people and reminding people.
And if you're looking for it, you can search Parent Square for School Climate Survey.
Is this only going to parents?
Yes. And again, the middle school and high school students have filled it out as well as staff members. So we should have some very good data for us all to reflect upon.
Lisa tells us that the school climate is rather chilly in her office.
It is. The other announcement is, I think we have some bragging to do, and I will let someone else do the Pop Warner, but we have an esports team, and our Red Devils gaming teams are in the state semifinals. So, and that is the Roy Wong and Nolan Hart are the sort of coach advisors of the team, and so those, I will give the committee updates as they move forward, and then, again, what was shared with me, if someone wants to get into more detail, but we have a Pop Warner cheer team competing in a national tournament in Florida, and they placed third in the nation, so it was a fifth grade group
There's
of...
a whole bunch of them down there now cheer. This whole week they are doing it.
Absolutely, and so we're cheering from here for the cheer team.
And that's where Jeremy is tonight. He's down there with the little ones.
Oh, wow.
One of my granddaughters is down there, and so they're having a really exciting week at Disney.
Wow.
Some of them perform each day, but the ones today did really, they came in third, right, in the nation, yeah. It was
Wow.
big,
That's huge.
yeah. Hope the others do well, too. Anything else, Eric?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so moving on then to Learning, Equity, and Thriving, we have a Planet Fitness donation.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The Planet Fitness location that shares part of the Ice Palace building is going to be relocating, and they contacted the school department, and Sean Hart and Bob, you went by too to look at some of the equipment, and there's some very expensive, very nice equipment that we could use to replace some of our equipment, both at the middle school and the high school, Bob.
Middle school and high school, yep.
And so I think that's the goal, and we're utilizing a moving company, so there will be some expense, but the donations are much more than the expense of
nice.
moving the equipment. So Nicole suggested we put it on the agenda for the school committee to accept the donation. So there's a list of all the equipment here. I'm not sure exactly how many we need. We may not use every piece of equipment just because we don't have the room for it, but this is the list of the equipment that we'll be using. Is that, you want to add anything, Bob, to that? Because again, you went, you looked, I think they were very open to sharing with the school department, and I think this is going to take place relatively soon.
Yeah, it's going to be happening next week, the move. I do want to share that there's a warrant article that you all supported, as well as town meeting, to do renovation of the locker room at the middle school. So now with the new space, this donation will actually fit really well into that new space. So the timing couldn't have been better. Yeah, the amount of equipment that we're getting and the cost of that equipment will be super beneficial to the school department. So we're very happy for the donation.
So obviously, we'll send a thank you note on behalf of the committee. And Nicole, you want a motion and a vote to accept the donation?
Yes, please.
Okay, so let's have a motion to accept.
I move that we accept the Planet Fitness donation as outlined.
So nice.
Is there a second?
Second.
And now is there discussion? I just have a couple of questions. The space at the middle school, has that in the past been used for fitness equipment?
Correct. So there's an area upstairs, right off the wooden gym, that is currently right now being used as a fitness area that has a lot of that equipment in there. Also downstairs in an area in the other locker room, there's a weight center.
This is at the middle school?
This is just at the middle school. So now with the renovation, we'll still be able to replace the existing equipment where it sits now, but once the renovation's complete, we'll have an expanded area to really showcase all that equipment.
And who uses it?
So the middle school gym, and then staff is able to use it, and then there's a club, but I can't think of what the name of the club is, but mostly middle school during the gym time.
Okay, and is some of this going to the high school?
there is a possibility that some of it's going to go to the high school. We're still trying to define some quantities that are going to come. In 2 of our visits, it's changed. So basically, they said, we think you can only have this much. And then on the second visit, they said, no, you can also have this as well, too. So we do believe that some will make it to the high school. We're just not sure to say 3 or 2 or 1 of a particular item yet.
And is all of this equipment that you want and feel you can use?
Yeah, we're not taking anything that we don't want. So we
Okay.
have the option to take what's available, but we have the option to also not take equipment as well, too. But anything that's been taken has been hand-selected by, the athletics director, who has seen it firsthand. So
Great,
all high-quality equipment.
nice gift. Anyone else have any questions? No. Hearing none. Jeremy's still not on, right?
Correct.
So we'll put that to a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? So that's 4-0-0. The next item on our agenda is the Burlington Education Foundation.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The Burlington Education Foundation has approved a grant, waiting for the approval of this committee, for to sort of restore and to refresh our robotics program kits at the elementary level. Mr. Musselman wrote a proposal for the grant in the amount of $10,000 for robotic program kits. So I recommend the school committee accept this Burlington Education Foundation grant in the amount of $10,000 for elementary robotic program kits. We're also going to be supporting that with some temporary payroll to get that robotics program sort of back up and re-engaged. So I think we ended a lot of those after COVID, and the robotics kit we had sort of aged out. So this is going to be sort of a restart of that robotics program. And again, I would strongly encourage the committee to support this grant.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to accept the Burlington Education Foundation grant. Is there any discussion, any questions, any comments? It sounds really great to me. Go ahead.
Yeah, I looked up the Spike Prime Lego set, and it looks very cool. This past summer, I took my kids to Legoland and Lego House in Denmark, and they had tons of different Lego robotics challenges for the kids, and basically had to drag them out of there. So I know that they'll get a lot of use. So
Yeah, I feel kind of bad that the robotics that we used to be, it was sort of on an upward trend going forward, and I guess it went backwards because of COVID. And it's great to see this coming back. Hopefully, we can reinforce it over time.
We will. And again, we want to thank Mr. Musselman for taking the time to write the grant and coordinate the program. And again, we're excited to get this started again.
Okay. I have a motion and I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? That's 4-0-0. We're on a roll here. Journey to Cares, Lisa.
Yes, thank you very much, Madam Chairman. If you could kindly put it up for Mr. Kuna. May click to the next slide. These are some pictures that I'm going to be talking about, but in here we have a picture of the grade 8 step-up night, some of the work that we're doing with the administrative team when it comes to looking at sustainable initiatives and making sure that our goal is always on MTSS, SEL, UBD, and also taking a look at our practices from both a cultural and linguistic engaging practices. Next, please. I want to talk to you about that. We have met with the interim literacy coordinator and math district coach to discuss upcoming assessment calendar, budget request, and progress monitoring. worked on the elementary scheduling with principals and superintendent, and we just had a meeting today with Dr. Conti. Been planning the professional development with the instructional team for December 12th, January 2nd, and March 20th. Next, met with the DEI, which is the Diversity, Equity, and Instructional Inclusion Instructional Coaches, to discuss their PowerPoint presentation. We are working on creating a more streamlined DCAP and taking a look at how are we going to start looking at our curriculum documents through an equity lens. Attended the MSMS Turkey Trot and the VHS Pep Rally. There in that first picture, you saw a luncheon for our students with Principal English Sand. Next, please. Again, we're continuing to plan our professional development. We'll be having that with Dr. Bill Lapini. Attended a family life presentation at the middle school for middle school parents. In the digital learning world, digital learning coach Ann Guanci worked with Dr. Nichols to create a new literacy resources website for all elementary staff. Next, please. Again, as Dr. Conti had shared with us, Burlington Red Devils Gaming is in the semi-state finals. Good luck to them. Also with moving forward, also with reading, met with a landmark outreach consultant to plan for continued teacher professional development and curriculum working groups, developed resources for oral reading fluency routines. Next, please. Plan for upcoming elementary listening rounds with a math coach and building principals. Met with the DESE Assistant Director of Literacy, continued to visit K-5 classrooms, and the interim literacy coordinator was a guest at a student-run book club meeting at Pine Glen. And the lead math coach has been working on the middle of the year meeting with all 4 elementary school principals to discuss ST math progress, learn about supports, and check in on school goals. Next, please. They are in the process of planning family math night for January with math specialists, and met with the Student Information's Office to demo the student companion piece on Open Architect, and is also planning an infrastructure support and math resource website with Erin Guanci, the digital learning coach, since we now have a literacy resource website for all of our elementary teachers. So we're going to do a counterpart of that, which is with the math at the elementary level. Next, please. With our English learner education, there are adult ESL classes going on. As you can see there, elevation strategy to share experience and thoughts and bring your own boss. Fox Hill Grade 1 students presenting his Community Hero Award to his teachers, a part of his ESL curriculum work. And Memorial Grade 1 students completed parts of a plant diagrams with label. Next, please. And also, when it comes to our family and community engagement, the director has attended the DESE Statewide Family Engagement Network. She's been participating in the State Dropout Prevention and Re-Engagement Conference with the Alternative Education Director. Next, please. She's also working with a food pantry to support holiday efforts for McKinney-Vento families. And with our Director of Mental Health, she is awarded a $60,000 grant from DESE to focus on enhancing our MTSS structures and proactive mental health screening and support. And as you know, she has disseminated the school climate survey to all stakeholders, that is parents or guardians, students in grades 4 through 12, and all staff. And this will be our 3rd year, so we're going to have great longitudinal data to compare. Next, please, we're working to bring DocuSign services to the district to enhance communication strategies with parents and guardians. And she attended the Learning and the Brain Conference in Boston, Massachusetts. Next, please. Again, special education is working to support K-8 English. The science and social studies folks are working to support K-8 English curriculum overview. They're looking at all of our literacy program curriculums. There were science and social studies standards. They're also looking at it at an equity lens. We've examined all 4 curriculum, looking at the cultures, looking at the religions, looking at ensure that there's equity, representation of all of our students and families. Also, Ms. Pavlicek has participated in a partnership with the special education staff to participate in SCAPE. This is very exciting. This is our science curriculum adaptation program for special educator institutes. There's December 3rd and 4th Train the Trainer session, and it's really going to help support professional learning to support students with moderate to severe disabilities in enhancing and growing that science curriculum. This is very exciting. Next, please, the National Council on Social Studies held its biggest conference of the year in Boston this weekend before Thanksgiving. Burlington sent teams of 3 elementary librarians, 4 elementary educators, and a team of history teachers from the middle school and high school. Next, please, and with regard to special education, Landmark PD and the review of services and professional development opportunities. What's going on in our Students Information Office with Robin Miliano, preparing for kindergarten registration. Also working with the ESL staff to create new Aspen progress report. Next, please. I want to do just a really quick overview of where we are when it comes to our Algebra 1 task force and also our literacy task force. As you can see that our map for pathways, it must show all of these. These are our non-negotiables. So we're really taking a look at it from our equity lens. Next, please, it shows us overall where we are. And then the next slide, please. We are right here, which is we're evaluating the options and selecting one. So next, please, the forefront option that we're taking a look at, and we're moving quite along, is if we were to create pathways, it's taking a look at proposals out there that in grade 7, there would be a grade 7 and an integrated grade 7 and 8th grade math class, so that in grade 8, there are 3 options for students. They can either take grade 8 math, an integrated grade 8 plus Algebra 1 course, or true Algebra 1 course that are, it's a high school Algebra 1 course. And as you can see, the multiple arrows are trying to point that there are multiple pathways for children to enter, so that you are not locked into place, so that in 8th grade, if you decide to take the Algebra 1 course, you go into geometry. If you, however, decide to take the integrated grade 8 plus Algebra 1 course, it could put you into Algebra 1 or geometry in grade 9. So we're coming along this way, and so a lot of this work is going to be taking a look at revamping our curriculum. This is work that is ongoing, and it's going to continue on to the summer, because we are projected in 2025, 2026 to have Algebra 1, a high school Algebra 1 course in grade 8. Next, please. This will tell you where we are with our last, when it came to our last literacy task force. So one of the things, we have about 35 to 36 teachers and administrators on this literacy task force. We did what was a live survey. And then this generated the thought exchange through AI, artificial intelligence. And we came up with CKLA and Wit and Wisdom as our finalists, but we'll be discussing more about that tomorrow with families from 6 to 7:30. It will be here at the BHS auditorium, in which we'll talk to you about the process we went through, to talk to you about where we are with regard to literacy and where we're going next year. But just want to say that this is only one component when it comes to curriculum. This is, again, one component. There's the implementation piece of it, and then there's ongoing professional development that we always have to have in order to ensure that whatever curriculum we decide to put in, it's done with fidelity, at high standards, and also that all students receive grade level access. Next, please. This is of where we are with regard to meeting dates. So as you can see, tomorrow from 6 to 7:30, it's optional, but we are having the BHS Literacy Night. We are also going to be having CKLA, the representatives there, be there to talk about their particular curriculum, and also Wit and Wisdom and Really Good Reading to also explain their curriculum as well, too. All right, next, please. Business and finance team, we hired a new accounts payables specialist. Welcome Angelo Sasso to the business office team. A lot of hard work, met with the town to discuss the green communities, assisted with finalizing the integration of the new collective bargaining agreements, and beginning to plan fiscal year '26 and the budget request from the principals. Next, please, with the communications team. Again, a lot of hard work from Lauren Angelo and her crew. She's working directly with the Burlington Police Department and with Detective Patrick Lyons to streamline all standard response communication protocols, including redrawing all building maps at all schools. She's also working with, under the guidance, the Director of Technology Integration, Dennis Villano, to collaborate with teams at Westwood and Milton Public Schools to discuss strategies and the successful use of artificial intelligence. And she's also working with special education and also with the mental health department and finalizing the opportunity to use DocuSign to cater to forms for individuals electronically and accessibly. Next, please, in the human resource team, she'll plan the 2025 Staff Wellness Program. She's reviewing the substitute program and attended various workshops, including building a strong substitute pipeline at her meeting, focusing on employee onboarding. Next, please, the nursing team has been conducting mandated screenings at Fox Hill and completed them at Pine Glen. Creating technical supports have been done in the nurse's office, completing the process in the nursing department, how best to handle medically fragile students, and updating, reviewing protocols. Next, please. Operations team with the director, Bob Kuna, has been working at HARD, met with the architects, developed plans for the SMS locker room renovation at the middle school, met with town staff to strategize again the Green Communities Grant opportunity, held the field meeting, completed the NSBA school surveys at the various schools, ordered and delivered additional walkie-talkies to all 6 schools, met with engineers to perform building mapping, continuing planning in the new Fox Hill kitchen, looking at sod, infield materials, and dugout concrete, and also celebrated Peg's Allegretto's upcoming retirement after 20 years with Burlington. Congratulations to Peg Allegretto. Technology team continues supporting technology in the classrooms via our ticketing system, creating planning for future device refreshes for both staff and students, prepared staff devices for new staff and students, refreshed Francis Wyman staff devices, worked with operations team to fix some long-standing cabling issues, and met with 2 other districts to discuss the password policy at all levels. So we've done quite a bit. And BPS Cares, we're one team, one family, and again, thank you, BPS, for all that you're doing.
So, Madam Chair, before we have questions, there were actually, I added this month to the Journey to Cares. So, Bob, we had some, I believe, some pep rally photos that were extra. So, we had a
Thank you.
turkey.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Really are a fashionista.
Thank you very much.
We had a turkey show up at the pep rally.
Okay.
So it was in honor of Thanksgiving. So
Yes.
so the central office was well represented.
Okay, so there was a rumor, and thank you, Jesus, that it did not happen, that supposedly there was a BPS policeman supposed to pull me over. I would have died, okay? Because I was traveling from one school to another. I was very much following the speed limit, but to be caught by the police dressed like that would have been so embarrassing. And I think there was a person right here that had tried to instrument it,
I
okay?
can't imagine who would do that.
That would not have been nice. I would have had a heart attack. No, not nice.
Well, those pictures really make the meeting, Dr. Conte. Thank you for adding those.
See?
Lisa, you look great.
Okay, the kids enjoyed it. The kids enjoyed watching me like a turkey.
He sets people up that way, you know? You don't see him in the turkey outfit, do you?
You say I dress like that every day. What are you kidding me? The kids are interesting. Lisa mentioned something about the scheduling conversations that we're having, and I know that We've been having conversations, as part of the collective bargaining settlement, we agreed to look at the elementary schedule outside of the bargaining table, and those conversations have been happening, but on a smaller scale. I think we have some options, both from a working group from the district and a working group from the BEA, and our intention is to bring those options sort of all together in a larger meeting in January. And I know there are some committee members who are interested in that, so we're really coming up to the point where we can look at some options. Some of what Dr. Chen is talking about with curricular programs and ongoing training need to be supported by a schedule or aligned to a schedule. So we're sort of working together and trying to follow the same, the same endpoint. But I know I gotten several questions about, will the schedule be changing? What are some of the options? And so really, in the coming weeks, we're going to be starting to look at some of those possibilities. Changes have to come before the BEA and before this committee in order to move forward. So you haven't missed anything, but what I did want to say is, here's a blank sheet of paper, sort of figure out an elementary schedule. We're coming to you with things that are connected to what we're currently doing, and where they deviate from the existing contract, we will sort of articulate, and if there are going to be any sort of major changes, then those will need to be discussed and agreed to. So that work is, we spent probably, three hours today doing that, and have been sort of meeting right along. But I think we have probably 4 options that'll be interesting to discuss further in a couple weeks.
And it's inclusive of, like, there's good representation when it comes to the electives. Folks are there, our team chairs are there, central office, all the principals, assistant principals, and we've been looking at the schedules and also looking at the BEA options as well, too, just to address the points about the professional learning that's going to be important with any new implementation of any type of curriculum. That's going to be key.
Okay, any questions? Any questions for Lisa?
I have a question about DocuSign. Is this something that's going to be coming to special education as well? So when parents are signing IEPs, it's more streamlined? Great.
Yes, that's what they're looking at.
Okay, great. Thank you.
I just had a comment about the schedules. I'm glad that we're looking at it. I'm glad that we're taking a methodical approach. I just think we need to kind of at least start communicating what we're looking at. It sounds like that will start after the next meeting in January, but I think we just want to make sure if folks have questions, they know where to go and what we're exploring.
Yeah, so like if we're keeping the day the same length, adding 15 minutes,
Yep.
like the puzzle is challenging because Bob has to get involved because the buses don't work. I mean, there's a lot of different pieces to this, so you're right. If it's going to impact people's lives, we need to give them notice that the conversations are happening and how we phase them in and sort of all that stuff. So I agree with you.
Any further discussion on this topic? Okay. Facilities and finance. Finance report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think Nicole can go over the numbers, and I think she has a request. So, Nicole, I'll turn it over to you.
Thanks. So all of our capital articles and our revolving funds are in good standing. No major areas of concern at this time with operating, but there is one minor matter that I was going to ask the committee to address tonight regarding our translation and interpretation costs. So this fiscal year, we substantially increased that budget by, I think, over 80,000. We went from around 36,000 to 120. And we're trending higher than we had anticipated, even with that increase. And we knew going into this year, part of the reason for that increase was we were going to be translating our student handbooks, which was a pretty big expense. But we're still, like, our month-to-month regular translation interpretation costs are trending just higher than we had budgeted for. So I was going to request that the committee approve a transfer of 80,000 from salaries to expenses so that we can increase that line item to help cover those costs for the remainder of the year.
Okay. Do we have $80,000 in salaries that is
Yes.
not designated? Do you want to comment on this?
I do. I think this is the process that we put in place several years ago. We said, again, if this were a salary adjustment within a salary line, we can sort of make those adjustments without school committee approval, but we're changing sort of the intention of the money from a salary intention to either a contracted services or an expense intention, so we're just asking permission to make that adjustment. Translations, we were predicting were going to be much more expensive. We have 58 languages, 57 languages spoken. We are spending more in translations. We're getting a civil rights audit this year as well. Translating documents is sort of part of our obligations. So I think the question from the committee would be, why did you undershoot in the budget? And I think we did just because we're making adjustments on some school handbooks and everything else, and we're hoping we'll get a better perspective this year. And when you see the budget for fiscal '26, you'll see a more accurate number on translations, but we're not getting, that number isn't going anywhere but up right now. So we're about not even halfway through the year. We're close, but not halfway, and your concerns are we were going to overspend that pretty quickly. So I'm hoping in '26 you'll see a more accurate budget projection, even though we did project it was going to increase. And so this is the process as we sort of decided several years ago to sort of come back to the committee.
Okay, first of all, let's get a motion on the floor. We need a motion to approve a transfer of $80,000 from salary portion of the budget to the non-salary portion of the budget. So we need a motion.
So moved.
Moved and seconded. I believe it's state law that we have to approve transfers from salary to non-salary or non-salary to salary. I think it's been that way forever.
Okay.
And my question was, we've got enough money to do it, that's great. Because I was afraid we wouldn't have the money in salaries to do that. So now, if anyone has any question, Melissa?
Is this a role that we're not filling or unfulfilled, like not hiring for, or where's the 80,000 extra?
We've had some people leave who we've had hard time backfilling, so I think that's part of it. We have some substitutes, and we might have hired someone who was less expensive than we projected, and it's always kind of a mix. And again, our payroll is close to $35 million, so 80,000 seems like a lot, but it's in the grand scheme of things.
It's ahead at least.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
at least.
Yeah.
I'm not sure we would ever manage the salary line sort of that close where we wouldn't have some room, so.
Okay, Catherine?
Anticipate any surprises next year? Again, I know you're trying to get a grip on everything, but just trying to see if you know any projects coming up next year that may affect this.
So we knew about the projects this year, so was part of the reason for the increase. I think last year, at this time when we were budgeting for this year, like our month-to-month, like invoices for those services were lower. So maybe we've expanded languages.
Right, but I also think this is a good problem to have. We're also being more successful encouraging parents to show up at school events, and we're having to provide translations for those parents and families. So I think our service like Lexikey, those expenses are maybe more than we projected because we're seeing more participation. So again, it's I don't think it's all, we projected as best we could. I think this is just, again, a part of having a very diverse community, which is a good thing. on.
Okay, any more questions?
My question was sort of similar to Catherine's. Are we expecting any more large documents that are going to be need translating, or anything else that's coming up that's just,
I don't think anything major.
No, I think we needed, like, as you know, like, we consolidated all of the 4 elementary handbooks into one. So after that, we needed to get them translated. And I know that once you've gotten all the middle school, high school, and the elementary translated, it's much cheaper moving forward because policies, for the most part, aren't going to change, right? And so there'll be some things will be similar, and then you kind of just, it'll be cheaper to, because a similar language you keep, and then certain things you slide in and out. So it should be cheaper. We're not going to be translating whole huge
The
documents.
handbooks alone this year were 47,000 around to translate.
that's a lot. But worth it.
Okay, we all set then, ready to vote? All those in favor of moving $80,000 from the salary portion of the budget to the non-salary portion to cover the translation expenses, please say aye. Is there anyone opposed? That's 400. Okay.
You need anything else?
Do you have anything else in finance for us? Is
No,
that's
that's all.
it? Okay, and all of our accounts are in good shape?
Yep, no other concerns.
Okay. Fox Hill School Building Committee update, Melissa?
Not too much to update. We are still plugging along. Had a lot of work, working groups, interior. We worked on the exterior, the canopies, the windows. Next meeting is
12/17.
the 17th, so next Tuesday. I don't think there's much more to update.
Okay. Director Conti, have anything on Fox Hill?
No, it's just really exciting and starting to see some of the models take shape. I do think that Vivian and Neil are doing a very good job. I think, from my perspective, I think they're being very responsive to suggestions and questions. And so, and again, Andrea and Steve from Dorn Whittier, again, I'm sort of sitting there as a customer, usually on the other end of that conversation, and I think they're being very responsive. So, Ms. Massardo, I'm not, again, they're on time, and I think I like what they're, because now they work with some vendors, and I like how they're pushing their vendors based on what we're asking them to do. So
When's
I've been
that next meeting?
happy with the progress.
A week from today.
Fox Hill one is a
Yes.
week from today?
Yes.
Okay. All right, anyone else on Fox Hill? Catherine, Burlington High School Building Committee update?
Yep, so, next meeting is this Thursday at 6:30. Planning Board had expressed some interest in joining the meetings, so we've just extended invitation to 3 different individuals from the Planning Board. We had a community outreach working group meeting yesterday, and we'll have some additional meeting on February 12th, and then we'll have a forum in April sometime, June and August. And then we have a new video release that will be coming out in mid-January that's going to highlight the various building options and why some move forward and why others did not. Again, if you need or want more information, you can go to the BHS Building Project website and, again, catch up on some of our meetings and what's been going on. So that's probably the best way to see what we're doing.
Eric?
The 12th is also a forum. I think that's the important day. That's the next public forum. It's a tentative date, but community input meeting.
Eric?
Ms. Bond, you were planning on also saying something at January town meeting, and was this video going to be presented at town meeting? Should I talk to the,
Yeah, we can talk to him about that.
okay.
Yep.
To provide an update?
Yep.
Okay.
Because I'm not sure, this is not going to be released probably till mid-January, so I'm not sure it's going to be ready in time for town meeting. So we'll see.
Okay.
Anyone else? Okay, now the next item, Pine Glen School Standing Agenda item, I have a suggestion, since it was my idea to put that on in the first place. I wonder if we should change that to other elementary schools, Pine Glen and the other schools, just as a way of checking in at our meetings, if there's anything going on, not just with Pine Glen. I know we had a lot to talk about with the playground and the mulch and the, various things, the air conditioning. But I wonder if maybe we're neglecting Francis Wyman and Memorial a little bit, and we should just have change that a little bit.
Could it be just more of a facilities agenda item?
Yeah, the elementary schools, I think, we focused on it because of Fox Hill.
Right.
So I just thought, we don't have a whole lot to talk about with Pine Glen right now. We have to look at the capital plan for that. But maybe just to include all the others.
Through the chair, I'd actually agree with that, Dr. Conti. If we could do it as a facilities update, it would give me the flexibility to discuss any school projects that are going on or
Yep.
any updates to the committee.
That works, that's great. Let's do that.
All right,
I don't want Pine Glen to get lost in the shuffle here, though. I want them, that's our next elementary project, so
we
want
can,
to keep that in mind.
Yep.
All right, is there anything about, since it's on the agenda, is there anything about Pine Glen tonight that you would like to update us on?
No, unfortunately, no. No new updates with Pine Glen right now.
Any other buildings?
The concrete bases for the pigs have been installed at the other buildings, and they're curing this week, and we expect to have the pigs be there by the end of this week or next week at the 3 remaining buildings.
Good, the kids will love that.
Pigs are curing. I love it.
So the next item is transportation, and I'm sure if I'm hearing, we're all hearing some issues about the app, that people aren't happy. So have you got any update for us?
Yeah, I mean, I think I want to start first by saying I think the routing itself has been positive
Great.
and been timely, but there has been some issues, especially the past few weeks with the app. It has not been as stable as we had hoped it would be, and by not being stable, that means that myself, residents, we have not been getting updates. So it's not been functioning as it should. I did have a meeting yesterday afternoon, with the company and the development team. Again, they are working diligently on it, and there are some multiple factors in play, but I don't believe that we want to hear that as an answer, right? So ultimately, they do have to do some more work. Last night, they did make some changes, and this morning, everyone that I've talked to has received updates. They believe they're stable now. It's not the first time we've heard that we're stable, so obviously we're tracking it. I do have follow-up meetings 2 more days this week to check in with the development team to make sure. There is also an update that they're looking to push out next week, and it will actually offer full route tracking. So there's a positive to that as well too. So one is a notification that says your bus has entered into this specific circle. Full route tracking means that when you open the app, you can see where the bus is for your child. So again, I'm still stressing that notifications are important, but with the release of the update, we'll have a second functionality which would be able to track where the bus is. So like I said, we're watching it this week. They're doing as much as they can to make sure that the app is stable. Like I said, we will get an update out pretty soon once we know that they're ready to push out the app update. The update is optional, so if people do not make the update, nothing changes. If they do download the update and install it on their device, there's an additional functionality that I'm told that they don't have to do anything, meaning that when they open up the app, they will just see the bus for their child wherever it is on that route. You can't see other children's buses, right? Only the ones that are assigned to your child. So again, positive is that they're receptive and responsive to the communication. The negative is that the app has not been stable for 3 weeks, and we are aware, we are working on it and hopefully we're at a turn right now where we see some stability.
You got anything else on transportation?
Again, I would say that the routing itself has been positive. The addition of the 10th bus number 20 for the high school, has been positive. Late buses, I don't want to say are a thing of the past because there's always the day-to-day that happens. But largely late buses or buses that are late, more than a few minutes, has not been happening extensively that I'm aware of or any of the reports that I've seen. But believe it or not, we're still making changes to routes. We've had some new additions. We've had some people change. Now with the cold weather coming, we've had some students and families that didn't take the bus when it was nice that are now looking to take it. So again, this is a constant moving target that we're just working on all the time. But again, I think we're in a slightly good place right now with the timing. I hope the traffic stays on our side. I hope the weather stays on our side, and we can continue on this path.
Any questions? Melissa?
I'm one of the lucky folks whose app hasn't been working since the beginning of November, so they've heard from me many, many times. In terms of the update to the route tracking, I think that will be good. I saw the flyer that they want to send out. Is there someone, that flyer just shows you how to update the app. I think we need the context of why you should update the app, of now you can get route tracking, and maybe an apology for the service that they've received for the first half of the year. Is that something you or maybe Lauren, somebody can put together that flyer, can attach to the instructions on how to update the app?
That request has already been made.
Okay.
From myself to the company.
Okay.
For an updated flyer that has more additional information on it.
Okay.
So I don't have that yet to present, but
All right.
yes.
Anyone else? My only input is I think that the being able to see where the bus is, if you want to know where the bus is, I think that's huge. Just being able to open your phone and say, okay, where's the bus? I mean, maybe it's great to get notifications, but I would think that being able to see where the bus is would be very helpful.
Agree.
For the most part, you can do that now. It's just not as clean. I'm curious what the change will look like. I mean, you can see that bus move now. It's just, I'm curious what the true difference will be.
Is it reliable, though, if it says the bus is on Street X? Is it really there?
The notifications are incredibly unreliable, but the tracking has been, if you open the app, you can see where the bus is.
Well,
It's not, I don't think it's not quite, it's still gonna be lagging, right?
Yeah, there has to be a time
you
delay
can't
just
wait for it
because
to
of the
get to your
network, but-
spot and leave the house.
Right.
So I think that's what if the notifications come, it's nice because you can get notified when they're a little bit away and then leave. But when they don't come, then you don't leave, and then it's a nightmare. But the other question I was gonna ask, now you can pick any bus route. So they're instituting some sort of fence, and that you can only see your bus route?
So again, I don't have the full information in front of me. What I was told in my meeting is that in order to implement security for full bus tracking, that it would be related to just the buses that are available. I know what you're saying. In the route right now, you can put a geo fence to see if a bus comes into that route.
Yeah.
There's a lot of buses that wouldn't come into, let's say, your particular neighborhood, nor mine. So you would never get a notification. But when it comes to tracking a specific route, that was one of their concerns in their initial release of the app, was that implementing some security standards. So.
Okay.
Bob, what was, and Nicole might know this too, what was the initial request from us for the capabilities of the app? What did we require that app to do? Was it to notify or just
I'd have
to
to pull
show
up
the
the exact
location?
language.
Yeah.
I can find that language and send it to you.
Okay, that'd be great. I'm just curious, so are we asking for more than we?
But we had, I'm on the same.
I mean, an
I'm
app that
curious
works
as
every
well.
day should not be outside the contract. I don't care what was written in the contract. It doesn't, if it doesn't work
absolutely.
every day,
Absolutely.
the same way.
My point was,
Yeah.
did we ask for notifications at various points in time? or did we ask to be able to follow the bus? Or, you know, just how much do we ask for versus what we're
How
getting?
specific was our, our instructions of what we wanted? Because it sounded, if I recall, when they said they were doing it in-house and kind of were telling us what they wanted to do, we were like, well, that's not what we envisioned. But how clear were we in what we discussed? And I agree, it needs to work. But
Yeah, every
I
day.
think when it comes down to what people are upset about, again, this is a learning process for us too, that we need to be clear in communicating to the public what was asked for, what we're getting, and then are we asking for more? And, they're accommodating our ask, right? So I just want to make sure we're communicating the right information.
Yeah, so when you get a chance, just send it to me. I can share it around. Is there anything else on transportation?
If I could just say, I think when Melissa was speaking, I was going to use a perfect segue into this comment, is that I think regardless of the app or the tracking software, if it is available next week or the coming weeks, is that we've been fortunate, and I would like to encourage parents to still have children outside at a reasonable time and not wait for the notification or the tracking to say that my bus is in my driveway.
Yeah.
And especially as the colder
Point.
weather comes about as well too. I realize we don't want kids standing outside not knowing if a bus is coming, so that's the whole intention of the app. But still, we still encourage families to get outside a few minutes early, wait for the bus to come, and then move on. So if we could still send that positive message to families, that would be helpful.
And I'm sure some of the kids have to walk a ways to get to the buses, so they have to leave in time to get there. Yep. All right, if there's nothing more on this topic, new or old business or updates, does anyone have anything? I do have a question, but I'll defer to the committee first. So I asked Dr. Conti, and I think it's going to take some time to figure this out, but I got a message from a parent interested, maybe concerned is a better term. Last year, there was an agreement made that, except for midterms and finals, that math tests would go home so the students could go over their mistakes and the parents could look at them.
Okay.
And the question that I have gotten is, what about other departments? So when you said you were asking the high school principal to check with other departments, and when you get some information, let us know so that we can pass it on to parents.
Would do that. Would love if parents contacted the departments or the principal. I understand sometimes they feel funny about doing that, but that's really all I'm doing, and we're gonna try to figure it out. But
Well, the question was, is there a policy?
no, there's not a policy.
And clearly, there is no policy. I think it's hard for parents to not be able to look, oh, I got an 80 on my social studies test. Well, what'd you get wrong?
Yep.
And where's the test? I want to look. And they don't have it. And so,
I understand completely, and I just think the conversation is going to take place at the high school. I want parents to feel comfortable having those conversations. I will clearly help out anytime I can, and I've already spoken to Mr. Sullivan, who's having those conversations, and he encouraged, again, any of those parents, if they're struggling with communication, that he'd be more than happy to sort of speak with them and try to make sure that their questions are being answered. But, Ms. Monaco, we are working on that, and I'll get you
Great.
some information.
I just want to make one comment too. Cheyenne, it's really nice of you to be here. I know you don't have anything to offer from Ways and Means at this point in time, but we appreciate your presence.
Well, we do get together outside of our official meetings, and I have to update, what we go over here, so it's still
Well,
important.
don't hesitate to speak up when you have
course.
anything you want to say.
Absolutely, I appreciate that, thank you.
Anything else to come before the committee tonight?
Just wanted to wish the committee and families and staff and everyone a sort of happy and healthy holiday
Everything.
season, Christmas, Hanukkah, however you celebrate, and
Festivus?
Festivus, whatever, and And I think we will be gathering again as a committee in 2025, which I almost have a hard time saying, but it's
Just the number.
just a number, that's right. So, thank you all for your work throughout the year.
And thank you, Mary Ann, for your hard work. We appreciate you. Okay, if there's nothing else to come before the committee, guess what?
I move we adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor? We are adjourned. Good night, everyone.